mid-July 2022. Just getting things rolling again on the motorhome build. So the goal on this phase is to get the camper jacks installed. And I just put the template down, marked the holes I got to drill. Clean the surface. And then I get to use my new toy. This is like the guilty pleasure of tools. It's a portable magnetic drill press. It's the cat's meow. Lovely toy. So the handle that I'm going to play with turns the magnet on and off. I'm just learning to use it, so it's the first time I've had it out. They make all kinds of these different models, different sizes. This is more like the Princess one. It's definitely fancy. You wouldn't see it on the shop floor. I'll show a picture, do a video on mag drills at some point. But this is definitely, it's kind of like a Ferrari of mag drills. You wouldn't see it on the shop floor, not an industrial shop floor. So it's a rare earth magnet, and you turn the handle and it sticks to the steel, and as long as the steel's clean, it stays in place. It uses special drill bits with this particular chuck. There is another chuck attachment for regular drill bits, or you can buy drill bits that fit right into that particular chuck. And it's just the nicest thing. It takes about 10 minutes to do a hole with this tool, and it would take you probably 5 times longer with the drill. And this is hardened steel on a frame. It's not mild steel. So you'd be working 7/16 hole I'm drilling here. Nice toy. It has some features you wouldn't normally see on a more industrial, dedicated kind of drill. So it has 4 different speeds. It's lightweight. And the reason I got the rare earth magnet style was because if I lose power, it doesn't fall on me. And I know I'd be working upside down and all over the place with it, so that makes it kind of nice. Most of the industrial ones are relying on power, but they're not normally working in these conditions. I had my template up there, and I pre-drilled a little dimple where I want my bolts with the plate I had on there. So I'm trying to get my holes dead on the money. You can see I put too much pressure and the magnet came loose, and when that happens, it automatically shuts off so that it doesn't beat you up. A lot of torque in this thing. It'll beat you up pretty quick if it gets a hold of you. Spent a few weeks thinking about where to put these jacks, and I ended up putting them between the front and rear axles. This gives me the most versatility when it comes to parking on elevations. If you put them further apart, then you'll have less jacking distance just because of the wheelbase. So by keeping them between the axles, I have more options for parking. It comes with different bits. So this is like your standard drill bit. you'd see in a hardware store. It also has bits that are cylinders. So you, on the bigger, this is too small for a cylinder bit. I think they call them annular bits. We just call them mag drill bits. And what it is a coring bit. So instead of taking away all the metal, you just do a circle, like a hole saw circle. And you have a little plug that falls out. So you're cutting away less material. But those bits, I think the smallest they come in is 1/2 inch. And this is 7/16, so I had to go to a regular bit. Really taking the time to line up every hole perfectly. These jacks I bought are from Bigfoot. And I looked at some more industrial jacks, like we'd see on the cranes and stuff, but it's just too crazy. It's over the top. I couldn't find anything that wouldn't cost tens of thousands of dollars. I would have preferred industrial grade stuff, but I'm going with these Bigfoot camper jacks. I bought the heaviest ones they had, the highest end package they had. So I think each jack is good for 5 ton. So that's 10,000 pounds per jack. It's two-way hydraulics, so it'll push down, and hydraulics will also retract it. You'll notice if you look under a lot of even the high-end motorhomes, you'll see jacks, and you'll see a spring attached to the jack. So yeah, it's a $200,000 or $300,000 motorhome with jacks on it, and they got these basically, I think they're crap jacks. So they push down, but they rely on the spring to come back up. But yeah, okay, not for me. So these ones are the best I could find. It's still, I consider RV grade, but it's the best RV grade I could find. It's something I would recommend. It's actual proper hydraulics, so there's not much that can go wrong. Cylinders are cylinders. They're using a power steering pump, so you put power steering fluid in them, and that's okay, that's good. So the whole process takes me about 4 hours by the time I go through all the lining stuff up. Oh, and you can see the green light flashing there. That means I've only got 50% of the magnetic grip. So I haven't got a great spot there, and you'll notice there's a hole behind the drill in the frame, so it takes away from the magnetic grip. So there's a way to get around that. If I put a plate on the back side of the frame, more metal, more grip. This is, I think the frame's 3/8 steel, which is the minimum recommended thickness of steel. But when you go into lighter steel, you just put a plate on the back side of whatever you're drilling through to make up for the thin steel, and that usually works pretty good. But doing this by hand with a hand drill would just be a killer. Hardened steel, 7/16 hole. I'd probably do like 2 or 3 pilot holes, and I'd probably break a bunch of bits and probably get a bunch of kickbacks, especially when you break through at the end. Normally that's when your drill will jam, your hand drills. But this is like the Cadillac of drilling holes. They're not cheap. They probably start at $1,500. That'd be the cheapest one you'd find. This one was around $2,000. And then by the time you're done buying bits and everything else, consumables, accessories, it gets expensive. It's definitely a guilty pleasure. But you know, I've been drilling holes for like 45 years, and you get tired of it after a while. Rather just you deserve a better drill. I don't know how many thousands of holes I've drilled. So don't forget, this one has 4 speeds. So anytime you start it up, you got to reset the speed again because it's a push button speed, which is, you know, I can deal with that. That's not a big deal. You can see the drill bit there. So you know you got the right speed when you got metal chips that look like pigtails. When you get the right speed and the right pressure and the right lubrication, cutting oil, this is a paste, cutting paste, you get nice long pigtails. So I'm just getting used to the drill and how it works. But it's really nice. It weighs, I think it's 28 pounds, around 28 pounds. There's a little oil reservoir on it. I've never ever seen anybody use it. All the drills come with oil reservoir. I've never seen anybody use it. It would work okay if I was vertical, drilling down, and with the other bits, the coring bits, they would allow the fluid to go right through the machine, right into the center of the bit. But still, I've never seen anybody use it. I wanted to get my holes really close. Like those are 7/16 bolts, 7/16 hole. Normally you'd go up one size a bolt or drill a bigger hole, be sloppy, which is okay in some applications, but this is there's a lot of energy on this thing. So it's raising the truck and it's got shear force, and I want it glued on there. It's not going anywhere. So actually the kit came with grade 5 bolts. I'm going to upgrade those to grade 8 bolts. You would rather have the frame twist than this thing move. You want it to be part of the frame. So I'm making the holes really tight so there's not sloppy. I got it dead on where I wanted it. So this has a shear force, and also you have to consider that it's a live load. So it'll be holding the truck up in the air. It'll be probably the truck weight when it's finished and loaded. It'll be like 15,000 pounds, and you're walking around in there, or wrestling or moving around, and you don't want any chance of anything moving. The jacks, you want them fixed forever to never move. Here I'm checking my elevation. I've got the truck jacked up so the tires are still touching the ground. So the number I'm going for is 19 inches. I've got a piece of styrofoam there that's 2 inches thick that I'm standing on. So my number's 17 inches, and then there's still feet to go on there, and you don't want this to stick down too much further, any further than necessary, so it doesn't grab on everything when you're driving around. And there we go. That's one jack in place. And that probably took me 4 hours to get this far.